makes me want to get into yet another wargame. The tallest and heaviest type of Terminator armor, Saturnine armor is incredibly slow but nearly impenetrable. It had even more armor plating than reflecting armor, as well as thermal diffraction fields that could disperse into the enemy. It kind of feels exactly the same as a shield generator, but it's different enough to have its own wiki page, so much like the equally cool Saturnine Dreadnought, only a warrior possessing sufficient mental strength and discipline, along with some level of psychic ability, could wear the armor. Also, where do they sit? It doesn't look cool. It doesn't really work. Unlike the other patterns of Terminator armor, or pretty much anything created in the Imperium actually, Saturnine armor did not come from Mars, but rather from a vanished Mechanicum enclave on one of Saturn's moons. The coolest of all Terminator patterns, Saturnine armor has just had a model refresh for the Heresy tabletop game, and it makes me want to get into yet another wargame. The tallest and heaviest type of Terminator armor, Saturnine armor is incredibly slow but nearly impenetrable. It had even more armor plating than Cataphractii armor, as well as thermal diffraction fields that could disperse into the enemy. It kind of feels exactly the same as a shield generator, but it's different enough to have its own wiki page, so who knows. Much like the equally cool Saturnine Dreadnought, only a warrior possessing sufficient mental strength and discipline, along with some level of psychic ability, could wear the armor. Also, where do they sit? It looks cool, but it doesn't really work. Unlike the other patterns, Terminator armor, or pretty much anything created in the Imperium actually, Saturnine armor did not come from Mars, but rather from a vanished Mechanicum enclave on one of Saturn's moons. The coolest of all Terminator patterns, Saturnine armor has just had a model refresh in the Heresy tabletop game, and it makes me want to get into yet another wargame. The tallest and heaviest type of Terminator armor, Saturnine armor is incredibly slow but nearly impenetrable. It has even more armor plating than Cataphractii armor, as well as thermal diffraction fields that could disperse instant energy. It kind of feels exactly the same as a shield generator, but it's different enough to have its own wiki page, so much like the equally cool Saturnine Dreadnought, only a warrior possessing sufficient mental strength and discipline, along with some level of psychic ability, could wear the armor. Also, where do they sit? It looks cool, but it doesn't really work. Anyway, unlike the other patterns of Terminator armor, or pretty much anything created in the Imperium actually, Saturnine armor did not come from Mars, but rather from a vanished Mechanicum enclave on one of Saturn's moons. The coolest of all Terminator patterns, Saturnine armor has just had a model refresh for the Heresy tabletop game, and it makes me want to get into yet another wargame. The tallest and heaviest type of Terminator armor, Saturnine armor is incredibly slow but nearly impenetrable. It had even more armor plating than Cataphractii armor, as well as thermal diffraction fields that could disperse incoming energy. It kind of feels exactly the same as a shield generator, but it's different enough to have its own wiki page, so much like the equally cool Saturnine Dreadnought, only a warrior possessing sufficient mental strength and discipline, along with some level of psychic ability, could wear the armor. Also, where do they sit? It looks cool, but it doesn't really work. Anyway, unlike the other patterns of Terminator armor, or pretty much anything created in the Imperium actually, Saturnine armor did not come from Mars, but rather from a vanished Mechanicum enclave on one of Saturn's moons. The coolest of all Terminator patterns, Saturnine armor has just had a model refresh for the Heresy tabletop game, and it makes me want to get into yet another wargame. The tallest and heaviest type of Terminator armor, Saturnine armor is incredibly slow but nearly impenetrable. It has even more armor plating than Cataphractii armor, as well as thermal diffraction fields that could disperse incoming energy. It kind of feels exactly the same as a shield generator, but it's different enough to have its own wiki page, so much like the equally cool Saturnine Dreadnought, only a warrior possessing sufficient mental strength and discipline, along with some level of psychic ability, could wear the armor. Also, where do they sit? It looks cool, it doesn't really work. Anyway, unlike the other patterns of Terminator armor, or pretty much anything created in the Imperium actually, Saturnine armor did not come from Mars, but rather from a vanished Mechanicum Mechanicum Enclave on one of Saturn's moons. The coolest of all Terminator patterns, Saturnine Armor has just had a model refresh for the Heresy tabletop game, and it makes me want to get into yet another wargame. The tallest and heaviest type of Terminator armor, Saturnine Armor is incredibly slow but nearly impenetrable. It has even more armor plating than Factory armor, as well as thermal diffraction fields which just disperse into energy. Kind of feels exactly the same as a shield generator, but it's different enough to have its own wiki page, so who knows. Much like the equally cool Saturnine Dreadnought, only a warrior possessing sufficient mental strength and discipline, along with some level of psychic ability, could wear the armor. Also, like, where do they sit? It doesn't really work. Anyway, unlike the other patterns of Terminator armor, or pretty much anything created in the Imperium Immaculate, Saturnine armor did not come from Mars, but rather from a vanished Mechanicum Enclave on one of Saturn's moons. The coolest of all Terminator patterns, Saturnine armor has just had a model refresh for the Heresy tabletop game, and it makes me want to get into yet another wargame. The tallest and heaviest type of Terminator armor, Saturnine armor is incredibly slow but nearly impenetrable. It has even more armor plating than Cataphractii armor, as well as thermal diffraction fields that could disperse incoming energy. Kind of feels exactly the same as a shield generator, but it's different enough to have its own wiki page, so who knows. Much like the equally cool Saturnine Dreadnought, only a warrior possessing sufficient mental strength and discipline, along with some level of psychic ability, could wear the armor. So, where do they sit? It looks cool, but it doesn't work. Anyway, unlike the other patterns of Terminator armor, or pretty much anything created in the Imperium actually, Saturnine armor did not come from Mars, but rather from a banished Mechanicum Enclave on one of Saturn's moons. The coolest of all Terminator patterns, Saturnine armor has just had a model refresh for the Heresy tabletop game, and it makes me want to get into yet another wargame. The tallest and heaviest type of Terminator armor, Saturnine armor is incredibly slow but nearly impenetrable. It had even more armor plating than Cataphractii armor, as well as thermal diffraction fields that could disperse incoming energy. Kind of feels exactly the same as a shield generator, but it's different enough to have its own wiki page, so who knows. Much like the equally cool Saturnine Dreadnought, only a warrior possessing sufficient mental strength and discipline, along with some level of psychic ability, could wear the armor. Also, where do they sit? It looks cool, but it doesn't work. Anyway, unlike the other patterns of Terminator armor, or pretty much anything created in the Imperium actually, Saturnine armor did not come from Mars, but rather from a banished Mechanicum Enclave on one of Saturn's moons. The coolest
team, the little skipper, alongside his co-pilot, Second Lieutenant, approaching John sees a smoke target over the docks. It's the key to get bombs. All the B-17s in Rojon's group that are still flying open their bomb bay doors. The attack intensifies with a ferocity that the pilots have never seen before. B-17 falls rushing, is hit dead center of the flag. It veers off to the right and crashes directly into another B-17. Traps is sliced in two. Both
A contestant is passing through the competition.
Rojo can't believe their eyes. They think everyone is lost, but incredibly, they manage to release their parachutes. Rojo pushes the shot to the back of his mind and radios the bombardier, Sergeant James Shaw.
The mighty are down again. Another team wipe is full.
Got 500 pounds, which plummet towards the earth. On the little
Final 30 seconds. It's all left to do.
Tick tock, Scotty. Time for some last minute heroics.
Safely position the Germans to defend teams further along the line. Rojan has left his formation from the
The mighty proved their mettle in this match, powering their way to victory. On behalf of all of us here at the finals, thanks for watching.